Welcome back, deep divers. Ready for another deep dive.
Always.
Okay, so get this. Even with a La Niña going
Yeah.
on January 2025,
Yeah.
just smash the record for the hottest January ever.
Seriously.
Makes you think,
Yeah.
are things heating up even faster than we thought?
It's definitely a puzzle.
Yeah.
We just had a year that already broke every single record.
Yeah.
18 of the last 19 months went over that 1.5 degrees Celsius
Yeah.
warming limit.
The one from the Paris Agreement.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So let's break down that 1.5 degree limit.
Sure.
Why is that number so important in the climate world?
Well, you can think of it like a guardrail for the entire planet. Scientists say if we go past this limit,
Yeah.
for a long time, it could set off a ton of irreversible climate impacts.
Like what kinds of things are we talking about?
More and worse heat waves, for one, rising sea levels,
Right.
which threaten coastal communities,
Oh, yeah.
and disruptions to ecosystems.
Right.
You know, the ones that support life as we know it.
It's like
Yeah.
not just about things getting a bit hotter.
Right.
It's like pushing the planet past a point of no return.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's striking is the U.S. had a cold snap in January,
Right.
but most of the rest of the world was baking.
Yeah.
Parts of the Canadian Arctic
Yeah.
were a crazy 30 degrees Celsius warmer than average.
30 degrees above average in the Arctic.
Yeah.
That's just wild.
Yeah.
But I thought La Niña was supposed to make things cooler.
Right.
What's going on there?
That's the weird part.
Yeah.
La Niña,
Yeah.
the cooler part of the El Niño Southern Oscillation,
Right.
the ENSO cycle, usually acts like a global thermostat,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Cools things down.
So why isn't it working this time?
It seems the rest of the world's oceans are so incredibly warm that it's canceling out La Niña's cooling.
Wow.
Samantha Burgess from the European Weather Agency said it's like trying to cool a room with the AC blasting while the furnace is going full blast in the next room.
So we have record-breaking heat.
Yeah.
And even La Niña can't seem to cool things down.
Nope.
Does this mean global warming is actually, speeding up?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yes.
And it's causing a lot of debate among scientists.
Right.
Some, like James Hansen,
Okay.
the big climate scientist,
Yeah.
say data shows the last 15 years have warmed twice as fast as the 40 years before that.
So that's like a serious acceleration.
Yeah, and he thinks this speed up
Yeah.
is partly because of less sulfur pollution from ships.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So cleaning up the air is actually making global warming worse?
It's kind of a two-sided thing.
Yeah.
While those sulfur emissions were polluting the air, they were reflecting some sunlight back into space
I see.
with cleaner shipping. We're seeing less of that reflection,
Yeah.
which means more heat gets trapped in the atmosphere.
So it's like an unintended consequence.
Yeah, it is.
But you said there are different opinions on this whole
Oh, yeah.
accelerating warming thing?
Definitely.
Oh.
Some scientists say we don't have enough data yet to say for sure that global warming is accelerating more than we expected. Others think the temperature increases are still within what climate models predicted.
So it's complicated with different ways to look at the data.
It is.
So what does this mean for 2025?
Well,
Could this year still be the hottest ever, even with February starting off cooler?
it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Predicting the climate is tricky.
Right.
Things can change fast.
Yeah.
We'll need to keep watching the data as the year goes on.
Okay, so we have a lot of unknowns
Yeah,
and a lot more to talk about.
definitely.
But before we dive into
Yeah.
what all this warming could mean.
Sure. Welcome back to the deep dive.
So,
Before the break, we were talking about those record temperatures and the debate about whether warming is speeding up.
yeah.
But let's change gears a bit.
Okay.
Even if we don't know for sure how fast it's warming,
Right.
one thing is clear.
What's that?
A hotter planet
Yeah.
has serious consequences.
It's not just about a few extra degrees on the thermometer, right?
Right.
What are some of the real impacts?
Yeah.
Oh.
For one, we can expect more extreme weather,
Okay.
heat waves,
Right.
droughts,
Yeah.
floods,
Yeah.
stronger hurricanes.
So basically the kind of disasters we see on the news
Exactly.
could become even more common.
And these events have a ripple effect,
Oh, yeah.
impacting everything from agriculture and food
Right.
to health and migration.
We talked about those warm temperatures in the Arctic.
Yes.
What's the impact of that?
One big worry is the permafrost thawing
Permafrost.
that's been frozen for at least 2 years. It covers a huge area of the Arctic.
Right.
And it has tons of trapped methane.
Methane is,
a super potent greenhouse gas.
Okay.
Even worse than carbon dioxide at trapping heat.
Oh, wow.
As permafrost thaws, that methane is released into the air.
Right.
Which makes global warming even worse.
That's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Melting ice releases more gases, leads to more warming,
exactly.
which melts more ice.
A dangerous feedback loop.
And the melting Arctic also makes sea levels rise,
right,
threatening those coastal communities. We hear about rising sea levels a lot.
Yeah.
But it's easy to think of it as a far-off problem.
I know.
What does it really mean for people who live on the coast?
Well, as the sea level rises,
yeah,
we see more coastal erosion,
okay,
more frequent and worse flooding.
Right.
And even the possibility of entire communities having to move.
So it's not just about property values going down.
No.
It's about people losing their homes and livelihoods. No. And the impacts aren't the same everywhere, are they?
No, aren't.
Vulnerable populations, often in developing countries, are hit the hardest.
It's true.
So this is a complex problem.
It is.
With far-reaching consequences that we're already feeling today. So is there any hope?
Yeah. Well, can we turn things around?
Or are we just headed for disaster?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
The good news is it's not too late to act.
Really?
There are solutions.
Okay.
Things we can do as individuals and together.
Yeah.
That can make a real difference.
Okay, deep divers. We're back for the last part of our look at global warming.
Yeah.
We've talked about some tough stuff.
We have.
Record heat the debate about if it's speeding up and those scary consequences of a hotter planet.
Yeah.
But before we all freak out, let's talk about solutions.
Okay.
Can we actually do anything to fix this?
It's not too late to act. We have a chance to stop the worst of climate change.
Right.
But it's going to take everyone working together.
So where do we even start? What are the best strategies?
One of the biggest things is moving away from fossil fuels.
Okay.
You know, the coal, oil, and natural gas that power most of the world.
Yeah.
And switching to renewable energy.
Like solar and wind?
Exactly. Solar, wind, geothermal, hydropower.
We hear a lot about renewables.
Yeah.
But can they really power the whole world?
Technology in renewables has gotten so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Solar and wind power are way cheaper now.
Wow.
They can compete with fossil fuels.
Oh, yeah.
And if we keep investing in research, we can figure out how to store energy and connect it to the grid.
Okay.
So renewables can be reliable and sustainable.
So it's not just swapping out dirty energy.
No.
It's about investing in the future.
Exactly.
What else can we do besides changing our energy?
Improving energy efficiency.
Okay.
Like making our homes, buildings, and cars use less energy.
Right.
If we use less energy overall.
Well, we can really cut down on greenhouse gases.
So it's not just where our energy comes from.
Right.
It's how we use it.
Exactly.
Are there any cool new technologies that could help?
Definitely. Carbon capture and storage. That tech captures carbon dioxide from power plants and factories.
Right.
And stores it underground.
So it doesn't go into the atmosphere.
Exactly, like a giant air filter for the planet.
So tech can play a big role.
It can.
What about governments? What can they do?
They're super important. They need to make policies that encourage reducing emissions and support a cleaner future.
Like what?
Things like carbon pricing.
Okay.
Like carbon taxes or cap-and-trade systems.
Yeah.
Those can make it financially better for industries to pollute less.
You mentioned cap and trade.
Yeah.
How does that work?
It basically sets a limit on how much greenhouse gas can be emitted.
Right.
Companies get permits to pollute a certain amount.
If they pollute less, they can sell their extra permit.
To companies that pollute more.
Exactly.
So it's like a market for pollution.
It is.
That makes companies want to pollute less.
Right.
Sounds complicated, though.
It can be.
Yeah.
But it works.
Well,
it's been used in a bunch of countries.
And it's actually reduced emissions. Besides that, what else can governments do?
They can invest in clean tech research, promote sustainable transportation, and make stronger environmental rules.
Okay, so governments can do a lot.
They can.
But what about regular people? Can we actually make a difference?
Totally. Our individual actions add up.
Really?
Millions of people making small changes can have a huge impact.
Like what?
Using less energy at home, choosing fuel-efficient cars or public transport, eating less meat.
Right.
All that lowers our carbon footprint.
So it's about making good choices.
Yes.
Knowing that they all matter.
And don't forget about your voice. Support businesses going green.
Yeah.
Push for policy changes. Talk to your friends and family about climate change.
That's a great point.
It can inspire others to act, too.
So that's something we can all do.
It is.
Wow, we've learned so much in this deep dive.
We have.
We've seen some scary stuff.
Yeah.
But we've also talked about solutions.
Definitely.
Climate change is a huge problem.
It is.
But we can solve it.
I think so.
We have the knowledge, the tools, and we can work together.
Right.
We just need to do it.
I agree it's a challenge.
Yeah.
But we need to face it.
For the planet.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the end of our deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Remember to like, subscribe.
Yeah.
And share this episode with everyone you know.
Let's keep talking about this.
Yeah, and work together to fight climate change.
I'm
in.
Thanks for listening.